offense to get something going here?
We need to change the whole entire game plan at halftime.
Okay, what do you need to change about the game plan? What are you frustrated about?
There's just a lot going on right out now. It's embarrassing for us here as an offense, so a lot of things we want to fix and correct.
Thanks.
Wow.
Now, you don't need to adjust your YouTube settings. You don't need to change your television settings. It is 12-0. The DC Defenders are up on the New York Guardians. And Matt McGloin, number 14, says,
We need to change the whole entire game plan at halftime.
Now, if you caught up with any of this, Matt McGloin got dragged all week for saying these comments. But after looking at the game film, guys, I think Matt McGloin was right. Welcome to US Football Forum, where football is king. And today we'll be discussing the Matt McGloin interview that had everybody perplexed, where at halftime, Matt McGloin stated that we need to change the whole entire offense. Now, at the quarterback position, you're looked at to be the leader of the team. Everybody's looking to you to kind of set the cadence, set the attitude going forward for any game, whether you're getting blown out or whether you're up by 50 points. The quarterback is looked at as the field general, kind of sets the climate for the whole entire team. Now, while it is in poor taste for Matt McGloin to express his feelings in the middle of an upcoming blowout, I really do feel like he was right. The XFL has a problem on their hands right now, and it's quarterback play. It's not all the teams, and it's a very simple reason why the quarterback play isn't good. But for the average football player watcher, you could say, well, the offensive line talent level isn't very good, so the quarterback doesn't have any time. Or you could say the quarterback talent pool isn't very good, and he can't really throw. Or you can blame the receivers, or you can blame the offensive coordinator, or the weather, etc. The list goes on. But the right answer are none of these. The XFL has a problem with quarterback play because they don't establish the run. Now, again, this isn't every team, but for the most part, any team you can look at right now that doesn't have a winning record, and I know that season just started, but any team that struggles offensively, they don't establish the run. Take this into account. Let's go down memory lane for a second. Growing up, my dad and I started bonding over football, more specifically Madden. I could never beat my dad, ever. Not until I began understanding the game of football. I can remember vividly playing Madden 97 with my pops, and the score would routinely be 28-7 every single time. He would score every quarter, he would pick the Cowboys, and just dominate the whole game. I thought the way he played was super boring. He would have the ball for an entire quarter, every single time. I was 7 at the time, and no matter who I picked, I could never beat him. Our game plans were simple. I would get the ball and throw it at least 60 plus times a game, probably completing about half. He would run the ball with Emmett all freaking game, and then play action pass. I could literally never stop him, ever. This went on for years until I finally beat him in 2002. How did I beat him? I played him at his own game. I may have been a little petty and excessively salty by running down the clock to the last second, then snapping the ball, but he laughed it off and accepted his 10-7 loss that he received that day. It was great. I gave in. There was no way around the run. Strategically, while it may not sound like the most exciting brand of football, establishing the run opens up the playbook. If you can scheme around your running game, it keeps defenses off balance and helps the offensive line gain confidence. The big boys up front feel empowered. If it's a 3rd and short and you're calling on them to get that extra yard, that's a big move for the big boys. Also, it gives the big men a break in between snaps, where you can fire off the ball, get your blocks, catch your breath, and then call the next play. Do you know how stressful it is to pass block when you're fighting off D linemen and linebackers just to give up a sack or have your quarterback throw an inaccurate pass? Extra frustrating. When we look at week 1 and week 2 for the New York Guardians running game, they had the lowest run total of all 8 teams at 44 yards for week 1 and were second to the last lowest at 71 yards in week 2. which most of those week 2 yards came at garbage time. The game was just about over and they were just trying to get out of the stadium. Say what you want, DC has a formidable defense. They're pretty stout. When going back to rewatch the game, New York never allowed Matt McGloin to get settled into the offense. There didn't seem to be an offensive strategic strategy to adapt to DC's aggressive defensive play calls. DC blitzed early and often, and it wouldn't have taken a lot to hit them on a screen or catch them off guard with a 2-route double move concept. It didn't take a lot to get established, but they never got into a groove. Even still, I believe the defenders knew that the Guardians wouldn't attempt to establish a running game. This in turn forced the Guardians to put up most of the pressure on McGloin to make a play. It was clear that McGloin never got comfortable, and it clearly came out in his body language on and off the field. Something that I want to make crystal clear. I know none of these current XFL teams are out here looking like the 2019-2020 Tennessee Titans, with King Henry in the backfield and Tannehill throwing the ball like a beast. Defenses couldn't stop King Henry, and they were anticipating the run on every play. So when they had a play-action pass, it worked phenomenally. The Titans' play-action pass was lethal, especially down the stretch in the postseason. But if you look at most teams in the NFL playoffs, consider the Ravens, the Titans, the Seahawks, San Francisco, all of them had stellar running games in order to push them into deep postseason play. So much so that the Seahawks brought Beast Mode back out of retirement in order to make up for their injury-riddled backfield. I get that the XFL wants this high-flying, fast-paced, driven version of football that we all love. But as a student of the game, I cringe watching game after game of 30 to 40 pass plays with only 50 to 20 completions per game, and don't even get me started on the amount of interceptions. If I even missed one XFL game and solely relied on reading the statistical outcome for each matchup, I could easily tell who won or lost without even knowing the score. It's always most likely going to be the team that had the balanced running game. Overall, I know it's way too late in the middle of a game to try to change an entire offensive strategy. I think that the timing could have been better, and if Matt wanted to share his opinion, just save it for the locker room. Matter of fact, save it for the coach's room within the locker room so that your team won't have to see that. There's a time and a place, and I think that Matt was just speaking out of frustration, but he wasn't wrong. The Guardians really do need to try to do a self-evaluation of their offense, trying to establish the run early, maybe trying to do some quick passes early on in the game to get the quarterback situated and settled into the offense, giving the receivers confidence in the quarterback and the O-line confidence in the offense. There are ways to go about this, and Matt has been a professional before. So I think most likely Matt was speaking from a place of previous professionalism. He doesn't carry himself like he's higher than thou, but I really do feel like the Guardians can turn it around. I don't know if they have a bye week. I don't believe they do. But if they can take some time to maybe listen to Matt, listen to his feedback, I think that they can be put in a better place. So again, guys, this is my opinion. Be sure you leave your comments. I'm eager to know what you guys think. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all in the next video. This is US Football Forum. Peace out and God bless.